right, so I just wanted to cut in a little bit of an intro background story on me and my dad in this interview. So I, he has not been a part of me and my siblings' lives for the vast majority of it, unfortunately. Um, and this is kind of me getting the story of that. And we reconnected about 6 months ago. I reached out to him because I wanted to hear this story, and I decided ahead of time that regardless of what the story actually was, that I was going to forgive him anyway, because I felt like that was important for me and my closure, me being able to move on in my mental health. And I think I was absolutely right. But also, I think that I very much liked what he had to say. I very much liked what he had to say. And I liked it so much that I thought that it was worth sharing with the world. And so here it is. All right. And we are rolling. Hello, everybody. I'm Greg, but you might know me online as Cloudy Gomo. This is Cloudy Gomo Sr. I'm going to basically just let him tell me his life story because I've never heard the whole thing, and I think it's probably going to be important.
All right.
Here we go.
All right. Like you said, I'm Cloudy
Gomo Sr.
Sr. And I just want to let the young generation know from where I came from to where I'm at now. I think I went from crackhead to God. That's the only way I can say it. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be living right now. Because the things that I was out there doing was not right. And I want whoever's listening to this, if you out there in the streets or in the life, come out of it. It's not worth it. I've got 4 numbers. I almost had 5, but God spared me. And I'm just here to tell my story. I left my kids a long time ago. I was in and out of prison. And when I came home, I tried to do right, but the streets kept calling. And I don't know what turned me around. I guess the last number. I got jumped down there real bad. And my sister Gwen and her husband had to save me from that situation through God's help and mercy. So I got out the last time, and drugs no longer on my mind. I don't even like them in my vocabulary anymore. I just know I want to be back in my kids' life. So far, we got one back, and that's Gregory Jr. over here.
So far, keywords.
So far.
You still got a lot of
but
time.
I'm going to keep praying because it's going to come to pass. I'm going to speak this into existence.
Your dad died very young. How old was your father died?
What was that, 10?
I think so.
I was 10 when my dad died.
You remember him well?
I can see him in my head, but as far as I remember him, he was always gone. He was in the city, but he was doing his own thing. So I really never had a male role model. I was playing it by ear, and I listened to the wrong ear.
Because it's easy to do.
Fast money, when I found out about fast money, well, let's put it back like this. When I was about 7, I think, and I wanted some Chuck Taylors. They call them Converse now.
Yeah, I still call them Chucks.
But he told me, he said, boy, there's no Santa Claus. So he got me a paper route. That was my first job. And I screwed that up. Once I had my own money, I thought it was my money, but it was the Blaze money. This was a newspaper for you young kids. That's a newspaper. There wasn't no line. We had none of that. And I messed that up. Tried to sell candy in school. Messed that up. Because in my mind, I was just seeing fast money. But in the long run, it was not really worth it. I should have stayed in school. I should have listened to my parents. I should have listened to my sister over here. But I didn't do it. And that started me on my road to destruction. I was out there in the life. They called me the $7 man. I could take $7 and come home with an 8-ball of crack, all kind of stuff. I thought I was that thing. But every time I tried to sell it, I went to jail.
You think that your dad missed a step in getting you the paper route, but not helping you with actually learning to manage the money?
Right. Yeah. He did. That's the truth. They did. When I messed it up, they would always take up for me. They would replace the money. And so I kept going.
Which kept you from taking accountability.
Taking accountability, right. That's the truth. And then when we found out he was sick, he had a car accident. And they went into the back. And when they went into the back, they found out he had cancer. And when he died, part of me died with him. And after that, I really didn't care. You know, they told me I wasn't going to live to see 18. And all the people that said that didn't know that somewhere God still had my back. Everybody that said it to me, I've outlived them. You know, and now I sit back and I think about it. I don't want nobody else to go through what I've been through. You know, like I said, I hacked first in 80. And I kind of tried to do the right thing, but messing with the wrong women and then the drugs. And that's how I messed up with your mom. Started hanging with my older brother, and he was a dope fiend.
Mm.
And
was that your first like interaction with hard drugs?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But one guy named Fat tried to shoot me up with some heroin, and my brother slammed me through a glass table. And I knew then that I would never touch a needle. But then I said, well, weed ain't that bad. Weed led me to crack and alcohol and the whole nine. And I couldn't control it. It controlled me. So now my mindset is I'll never let nothing control me again. Not no woman, nothing. You know, I want to live my life the way I'm supposed to live it. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was back then.
Absolutely, and that's all we can ask for. We can't. No one's ever going to be perfect. We just got to keep trying to get better.
That's right. I was walking around. The first time I went to prison, I was a little skinny guy. I weighed probably 150. I came home 175, 275, and then I got the big head. I went around beating up all my brother's friends. He picked on me. I did. I got out, and
I think that's pretty understandable.
You know, and it was like, how can I say it? It was revenge. You know, yeah, remember you.
How old were you the first time you went to prison?
17.
Okay.
17, 3 years, right off the bat. Never got probation, nothing. Straight to prison. Got out. Stayed out about maybe a year. Then I found out what guns was. Then I started robbing people. Didn't have to put a mask on to cover myself. For real.
I believe it.
Me and a few of my friends, when I was robbing gas stations in Toledo, and the police found out our patterns. They just hitting gas stations, so they started staking out the gas stations. Clark gas station, or Bancroft Church. I remember like it was yesterday. Went in there. This is the first time I put the gun in my hand. Went in there. This is stick up. And I wonder why a dude would give up the money so easy. Wait, I'm going to go out the door with the money.
Seems a little too good to be true almost.
He's like, ain't you forgetting something? I'm like, what? He said, here go my watch. He said, here's my wallet. He pulled out his wallet. When I opened it up, it was a gold star. Police. And my dude John told on me. And they was the kids. They was younger than me. So they would charge me as a dope.
Yeah, I was going to say, so now you're the ringleader.
Yeah, I'm the ringleader. Right. They were trying to get me with organized crime, all kind of stuff. So then after that, it was just on and on. So I said, well, I ain't gonna put no gun in my hand no more. Because they tried to kill me. They called me Lucky. When I ran, I jumped out the car and ran. And they were shooting at me. And I ran down this one-way street to this yard back of a church. I was trying to go over the fence, and the spotlights hit me, and bullets were going past my head. And they said, dude, if you don't lay down, we're going to kill you. So I laid down. That was another case.
How old were you then?
23, 24.
So you were in for 3, out for 3, and then back in?
Back in, yeah. And then your mom got pregnant. Mom got pregnant with my first kid. That was in 80. I was doing good. I was working. I always had that job. I was working at it. You know, I did keep a job after that. I kept a job. I really never got fired. I just never showed up for work once I started getting high. For real, that's the truth. And I thought I was doing good. Stayed out probably, I got custody 3 weeks old. I And I stayed out till she was maybe 3 or 4. Then I went back for 5. And by the time I got out, she was almost going to high school, I believe. And
I think I remember that.
yeah,
I remember the first time you came home.
yeah,
I remember because I remember you walked up onto the porch and like I recognized you as soon as I saw you, but it had been so long since I seen you that it was still kind of a question. Like, is that who I think it is?
Yeah, I know, because I was looking at y'all like, what's going on? It's a chip, man. But wow, and after that, I went to mess with a girl named, and I was working 2 jobs then. I worked Bob Evans and Applebee's. They're right down the street. So I didn't have to drive my car, left it in the park in the parking lot at Bob Evans, and would walk a block and a half to the Olive Garden, work there, get off. When I went to work, the sun was down. When I got up, it was just coming back up. And the last time I messed with her, I got home and the landlord was at the door with an eviction notice. I'm like, how am I getting evicted? I pay rent every week. But every month, I give her the money to pay rent. And so I caught that up and didn't happen again. And something said, go home early. I got up early, went in the house one day. She had all the dope boys in the apartment. I went ballistic. What did I do that for? Now, then the rest of the dope boys or her. And I walked in, she butt naked, running around with all the dope boys. I don't know what she did because I didn't see it. I just knew she had that pipe in her hand. And when I was tearing up stuff, and the police was called. I go to jail. She said I broke in my own apartment trying to rob her and all kind of stuff. And with my record, that was another 3 years. No, that was another 3. So I get out, and me and my stepbrother Fred, we down on the waterfront. And I'm sitting there fishing. And I heard a voice say, hello, Mr. Anderson. And I thought about it. I said, I know that voice. When I turned around, it was her. I got up. My brother Fred grabbed me. He said, get in the car. Do your poles. I'm going to tell you. Because he knew I've been throwing that water. And he said, dude, now you do that, you'll never get out. So.
And this is like right after you got out from...
2 weeks. Okay. I was out 2 weeks. Only down in the water. It's summertime. Down in the water. And that voice hit me. And I can hear it in my sleep right now. When I'm sleeping, I hear it. And I knew then, because my mama told me, when my mama met, she said, boy, that's the devil. I didn't listen. Didn't listen to my parents. That was my problem. That was the beginning of my downfall, not listen to my elders. So I got out, stayed out, probably about 9 years. And then I caught that last case. And that's when my sister and them got in my life. Her and her husband, Jim. And you can see he's on all the pictures of it. And they got me out of that situation, and they would send me money, all kind of stuff. All kind of just garbage, man. It's not much. People telling you when to eat, when to sleep, when to get up. It's something. Just right today, just to close the bathroom door, go in the refrigerator, just hit a light switch means something to me. To be able to wake up and go outside whenever I want to and see the sun shining, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, man.
I believe it. But
I wish I had stayed out to spend more time with my boys. Then this rift wouldn't have been between us. But I made that choice, and now I'm dealing with it. But nobody has to go through what I went through. If you carrying a gun and you ain't got a permit, put it down. You can't settle like men. Let it go and walk away. I don't know.
So do you think that it was your sister coming back into your life that was able to got you to be able to turn around?
This what made me really stop. Now my sister been stuck with me through all them years. The last time I got out, she took me over to this lady's house. Now I got paroled to this lady's house. My sister came down, they picked me up from the penitentiary, took me to this lady's house, bought us all these new clothes, every time. As soon as my sister and my brother got back on the highway, she put me out. Dead of winter. I'm walking down Reynolds Road with 4 bags of clothes, man. And the money they gave me, she took that. I didn't know it was gone because I was so upset with it. She told me, get out. This is my house. I don't want them down here no more. I'm like, wait a minute. They just took us out to dinner, everything, gave us this money, bills, and that. And now you're going to put me out? I don't care. And my brother's wife, Carmen, I did not like her, but now I tolerate her because what I keep thinking about, she picked me up. Snow was like a foot, something deep, 7, 8 years. I didn't speak to my sister, my brother-in-law. Trying to do it on my own. Then mom got sick. She died. I tried to kill myself again, went back to the drugs. And for 3 or 4 days, they were looking for me. And they found me on Bancroft in Detroit. In this house this apartment building called the Stool. They came and got me. And I think that was the last time I touched drugs. Because I was walking around with 3 or 4 pair of pants on. I ain't paying no attention on. I lost all this weight. It was crazy,
Yeah. How getting locked up can change your perspective. I've never spent any significant amount of time maybe in jail. I've never been to prison, but I did go to jail one time for some stupid stuff, some speeding tickets.
Okay.
And I was in there. I was only in there for a day, and the day honestly wasn't bad. It was the extra 3 hours. It was the extra 3 hours that really made me sit down and think that, I don't have any control over whether or not they actually open that door. Like, they're supposed to open the door.
But they open it when
they want to.
That's right.
Exactly.
It take them 30 seconds to lock you up. It takes you a couple of days to get out.
Yep.
Man, I've been
lost. That changed my perspective on how serious that situation was. That's when the panic started to set in.
Okay, see, that's the difference. I didn't catch it. It took me 5 numbers to finally catch it. I used to think I was the smartest criminal out there. And out the last bit I did, I'm in the hole for almost 6 months. They got me a lawyer because I got jumped by the gang down there. I'm working. I finally started doing right. I'm working in the front office. I'm still running my store though. So my bunkie and I've written locker boxes from these other people. When I could get off of work that night, go take my shower, go to my cell. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? And this time, hey, what's up? This time he got his back to me against the wall. So I turned him over, and he's all black and blue. Then I looked down, all the locker boxes. Shit. That's where you can smoke in there and everything. I had cartons and cigarettes, all kind of stuff. They took everything. Me, I think I'm the baddest thing in that. I ran up against them 6 brothers. Hit one, the other one hit me in the back of the head. Before I knew it, I went to fall down. If I get my hand, a blue kicked me with the steel toe boot, broke my jaw. Later on that night, the CO ran up and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "I fell down." "Oh, you ain't fell down. What's going on?" I wouldn't tell them. So that night, I went to the microwave with some baby oil, some Maggie savings and grits. Put in a plastic bowl, heated up, and walked around to the ringleader, tapped him on the shoulder. He was asleep. When he turned over, I threw it in his face. They got me out of there. I didn't think I was going to ever get out. They were trying to give me a new case while I'm already there. It's all bad, man. But they got me out, and thank God I ain't been back.
Yeah, thank God indeed.
Thank God I ain't been, because if I had caught that case, man, I'd probably had to do 50 years or something. I seen the boy on the bus about 2 years after I got out. He finally got out. And all this was still messed up. His beard wasn't a beard no more. He all had holes all in it. And he seen me, and I looked back and seen him. And the bus, I said, "What's wrong?" And I was trying to explain to that dude, pull that buggy out that bus. He thought I was going to do something to him. But, it's over now.
Did he get off the bus?
Yeah, he got off the bus real quick. Because I told him, I said, when I see you on the street, if he's up to leave him, I'm going to see you. And I seen him just by pure accident on the 15 bus.
Not a big city.
I know. On the 15 bus going downtown. So did. He looked to see me, and I see him. We locked eyes. But that's it. Where your attention at? And then he jumped up, ran the bus. He said, "What you and that dude got?" And I ran into him. I kept it moving. Man.
I think that there's really something to be said, and the internet doesn't necessarily know too much about uh, your other son, my brother. I mean, obviously he's got his own thing, but our things are not necessarily connected. You know, there's probably a couple people out there, Uncle Scotty and Mom are watching, they know who we're talking about, but not everybody. So I won't say too much about him. But we were just talking about how some people have to really hit rock bottom before they come to their senses.
And I hit rock bottom. I couldn't go no lower. The lowest I can get was being put in the ground. And I didn't want to die. Once my mind kind of cleared up and stuff, I didn't want to die, man.
And I think that also brings back talking about having role models, because I think for me if getting 24 hours in jail might not have had such a big impact on me if I didn't already have a brother serving 22 years. Like, I felt invincible because I was the brother who went to school and had a white collar job and was a professional and got to interact with all the white people, and could speak properly and all that.
Yeah, I understand that.
When you get in front of that judge, he does not give a
no, they don't care how
you
you
was
talk.
nigga just like the rest of them.
Right.
He's gonna put you in jail.
That's right, boy. But like I said, I've been up here 2 years, a little more. Almost 2. And my sisters preaching to me every day. Don't do this. Don't do that. And 99% of the stuff I listen to, you know.
It's pretty good average.
You know, we have our little disagreements.
Of course.
You know,
everybody
brother
does.
And sister, but
nobody agrees on everything.
We get along. Because I moved up here when her husband died. Because she got me, I came up here, she brought me a set. Well, I hadn't moved up here yet. She brought me a new iPhone. I got all that. She didn't know nothing about an iPhone. I had a flip phone, you know. So she showed me how to FaceTime. And I was seeing in her face. I said, she missed her husband, man. So I left my job, a 7-year job. I left it. I gave him a 2-week notice. It wasn't even 2 weeks. I was bringing loads up here and there. And the last time, sister said, especially when she seen where I was living at, Castle Grayskull. I mean, they were crackheads and alcoholics and that, but I didn't mess with them. All I did was went to work, come home, take a shower. I was sick. That was the only time I was in out. She came and seen that place. She said, She said, whatever you got, pack it up. I'll come and get you in the morning. So enough, my sister was there. Got me in West Nest. She said, now look back. She said, I want to look at the house. I looked at the house. I said, you mean I was happy living there? You know, it was like the sky opened up. I could see the birds chirping, the wind blowing, all that. Cause I was, even though I was there and was working and stuff, it was like I was still in a dark place. And I didn't really know which way to turn. She saved my life. My sister saved my life. I moved up here with her, man. You know, then as soon as I moved up here, that's what them scallywags. Just like mine. Boy, it's just not the one for you. So enough, that's the way it turned out. You know, so now I try to take my time and pick and choose. I still made a few mistakes. But,
like we said, nobody's perfect. And I think that's something we had a little bit of a conversation before you got here.
Well, I knew that was going to happen.
Well, she said something important, though. She said that, but for the grace of God, she could have been you. Because, none of us get to choose the circumstances we're born into. None of us get to choose the direction we're in. There's a quote that I like. This is the millionth time that I've said this quote, and I still have not looked up the guy again. But it was some Indian or Sikh or Hindu, I'm not really sure, but he wasn't American. He was from the Southeast Asia area, but he was like a religious preacher. And someone asked him one time, what is consciousness? And he responded basically, the short version, if I'm going to butcher it, is that we're all secondhand humans. Like, consciousness is the thing at the center of your being when you realize you don't have the answers to anything. Everything that you know was given to you by somebody else. And who's giving it to them by somebody else. Since for time immemorial, everything that we know is just passed down from somebody else.
We born, we don't know nothing. Mm-hmm. We go by what our parents, grandparents, and all they would do. Like the grandparents or the great grandparents passed it down to our grandparents passed it down to our parents, and they just went by what they knew. Mm-hmm. No, that's no, there ain't no book of life. You know, nobody told me how to be a father. Nothing. I just went by what I seen. So my daddy was a womanizer, so I thought that was the thing to do. My brothers were criminals. I thought that was the thing to do. My brother Jack, he was just straight out alcoholic. You know, but he was cool. I mean, we were cool. 'Cause I used to like hanging out with him. He talking about his life, and my sister, my solid, the alcoholic.
And that's the thing is that there can be, again, I don't want to name any names from my personal life, but my brother's friend, let's call him. I'm fond of him personally. I got a lot of problems with the way that he lives his life. His drinking is one of those problems that I bring up with him on regular occurrences. But that doesn't mean that he's necessarily a bad person. Somebody can have flaws. Everybody has flaws. And sometimes some flaws are bigger than others. Some of them are more obvious than others. Some of them are easier to hide. But everyone's got them. Yeah, and I just think I don't know. I guess I struggle sometimes to condemn people. I think that there's definitely situations where people do things that absolutely deserve to be condemned. But I don't think that maybe it's just not my place. Maybe that's it. Maybe that I just know that it's not my place to be the final judge of anybody.
Right. So that's, Sis always tells me about that. We can't judge nobody. Only he can judge us. You know, it's how do you want to spend eternity? In limbo, in hell, or with the master? And I want to spend it with the master. I'm not all the way there yet. She still teaches me the Bible. You know, she tell me to read Psalms and all this, and I do. So then it's like, when things start going bad, I just leave it over here. You know, but as long as I'm doing good, okay, I'm reading now. You know, but that's you're supposed to do it regardless.
Right.
You know.
Well, I'll tell you from my personal experience, and maybe this will be a little bit of encouragement. And I also am very much the type of person who I've got like all types of notes in my phone that I'm supposed to read every day. That I know I'll maybe read a couple of times a week these days. You know, when I first wrote them down, I was reading them every day. But I feel like I kind of got it.
I know it.
I'll come back to it every once in a while, but especially when it comes to the Bible, because I listen to the Bible in an audiobook, like I told you. So sometimes I get into my car and I didn't even plan on listening to it, but it just starts playing. And every time that happens, it seems like it applies to the situation, whatever negative situation that I'm in at the moment. So I would highly encourage you, especially when it's the rough times, to pick it up and give it a shot. Just pick it up and open it up to a page. You don't even have to pick any particular thing.
Exactly. Something in there is like I don't know who wrote this book, but I don't know. Some human wrote that book. Because God, I mean, I heard the Ten Commandments and all that. Okay, I believe in all that. I've never seen them blaming, flaming bush and all that. But that came from somewhere, somebody, whoever sat down and wrote that, knew what they were talking about.
I agree. And this is the way that I look at it. I went to Catholic school when I was in high school, and actually that was such a negative experience that for a while I was an atheist. I didn't believe in any kind of God at all. And then I had some experiences that aren't even worth going into on camera. But they opened up my mind. They opened up my mind to the possibility that there was more. And then once I accepted that there could be something out there, then I started looking for what it might be. And I searched everywhere. And I learned a lot through other religions. And that's the thing, is I don't necessarily consider myself to be religious. Mom calls herself a follower of Christ, and I identify with that. I think that's why I'm so big on reading the Gospels in particular, because those, whether or not they are exact quotes, those are the only actual words ever attributed to Jesus himself. And I think that there's value in listening to exactly what he said. Right. And what he said was that he did not come to prophesy. He came to fulfill the prophecies that have been prophesied already. He did not come to bring peace. He came to bring a sword. People have this image of Jesus as this, like, I mean, and to a certain extent he was. He was all about peace. He was all about turning the other cheek. Forgive your brother 77 times. But he also flipped the table when he walked into the temple because he didn't like what was going on in there. Right. He also prayed 3 times on the night of his crucifixion to ask God to take it away. And I think that says something. There's a reason why the most perfect man on earth still stumbles.
Yeah. Well,
I think that there's a reason why that's included. You know,
because I know there's really no perfect human there.
And exactly, and I think that's something that people miss when they read the Bible. Like if you read the Bible, what Jesus says is that he's the Son of God, but he is also the Son of Man. And on he never says until after he's resurrected that he had been imbued with the power of the Father. When he's alive, he says that my power comes from faith. If you have a strong enough faith, that mountain will get up and move because you tell it to.
That's right. That's right.
And every time one of his disciples comes to him with a question, what does he say? Oh, ye of little faith.
That's right. That's right. And she tries to beat that into my head almost every day. You know, we discuss it, but when I do my thing, she break it down. She breaks it. She said, "No, that ain't how. That ain't what it means." And then she sit there with me, and then I don't know if I'm gonna be because I'm tired or what, but a lot of stuff to say. I go in there and think about it. You know?
And then the one last point that I'll make on the religion thing, because I don't want this to turn into a religion thing.
Yeah, I know.
But Christians, there's a reason why we, or followers of Christ, however you want to call it, there's a reason why we call ourselves children of God. Yes, Christ was the Son of God. He was a Son of God, but we are all children of God. He had exceptional power because he had exceptional faith. That was the distinguishing factor. That's what made him different. That's why people followed him, because he preached with faith and authority, as opposed to the Pharisees, who were bullshit.
When he didn't have the answer, his father showed it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
With me, anything is possible.
Exactly.
Man, when he split the Red Sea and all that, that wasn't him. That was faith.
Mm-hmm.
His father helped them people out of there.
Right.
And they followed him, you know. But I just want to get that out. That I'm telling you, if he can change me, he can change anybody.
I agree, because it's done the same thing for me. I had to come back to it myself. I couldn't let anybody else teach it to me. I had to sit down and read the books myself. And I read a lot of other books in the meantime. And I've taken a lot from those other books, like the secondhand human thing. That came from an Asian religion, as opposed to, well, I guess technically Christianity comes from Pakistan. But anyway, regardless, we're not going to dive too deep into that. There's I think that there's value to be gained from all of these things. Regardless of which particular one you identify with or were raised in, I think that there's a reason why scriptures in particular survived for millennia. You know, they survived the burning of empires and libraries. They still keep making these books because there's something in there that people need to hear.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what I said, I know, like my sister always tell me, boy, you got a testimony. Don't be scared about your past. Just tell it. Because if you just help one person, that's what I want to do. I want to help this younger generation. It's out of hand now. It's just ridiculous the stuff they're doing. I thought I was bad man. I never killed nobody or none of that. You know, and the kids now, they think you can shoot somebody and push reset and that person coming back. It don't work like that. When you pull that trigger and that person died, it's over.
It could very well be over for you too.
Yeah, your life is over. And you're not just hurting you and that person, you're hurting
the whole family,
everybody,
whole environment. That was somebody else's kid. That was somebody's friend. That was somebody's brother.
Oh man, it's bad, man. You know,
But people, I think that's been one of the most eye-opening experiences, or one of the biggest things that I've had my eyes open to within the past couple of years is how like the fact that we only know what we're taught, and that combined with the fact that we all come from very specific and different places that we don't know each other until we get to know each other. And I think that is like at the center of like so much conflict that happens today, is that people feel so alien to whoever they view as the other side. They don't view them as people anymore.
I know that. I understand now. I'm still on this corner. You still in that corner. You a blood, you a crip. No, we are human.
Mm-hmm.
No, do it, man. It's just colors. I buy my clothes. I'm gonna wear my clothes wherever I want to. You know, that's just me. If I buy something red, blue, I don't think about what neighborhood I'm in. But thank goodness I've never dealt with it. Like that. You know, I never had no problem. So when I went, yeah, someone we stayed what we stayed on the house we had a dog at off of Collingwood.
Joffrey?
Not Joffrey. Oh man, Hackett.
Hackett.
Remember Hackett?
I don't remember.
You don't remember Hackett?
No,
Yeah,
I remember like Fitchland.
No, okay, Hackett. Your mom bought me a Ohio State starter jacket. Only problem I ever had in that neighborhood. I went over there Christmas Eve. I had my jacket on. They tried to take my jacket. I didn't know my gang, you know. I've been working there. I don't know my gang. So I went in the store. I said, excuse me, and they finally moved. And they kept looking. And then when I came back out the store, the dude walked up to me and said, check it in. What? Check what in? What you talking about? You know, who you roll with? I said, I said, roll with myself. I came right on the corner. What's it? Talking about my jacket. Just so happened, the police pulled up to the corner and they scattered. Mm-hmm. I took that jacket off and said, no, boy, I ain't lying. I was like, man, I just couldn't stay at home.
You know, I've messed up a lot of stuff in my life, and I'm sure I'm going to mess up a lot more. So that's all just part of the process. The important part is trusting the process and continuing to move forward, not stagnating, not allowing yourself to give up.
I ain't giving up no more. And sis ain't giving up on me, I ain't giving up on myself. No, like I said, I can look in the mirror now and say I really like myself.
Me too.
But then I can look in the mirror and hate who I sing. Mm-hmm. No, that I don't know. People don't. I just don't think about stuff like that.
I agree. I think that people don't think about stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I think that they avoid it.
Yeah.
I think they avoid it because it could, and this is why. They avoid it because it's painful. It's like it. Yes, it leads to an improvement in the long run, but the process itself is painful. I've heard it described as you have, in order to like become something new, you have to let a part of yourself die.
Yeah. Right.
And that's hard. And that's painful because you've had that part of yourself for your whole life.
And I tell everybody now that break is dead. Quit bringing him up. Let him go. But some people just won't let it go. They don't see the change. It might just be a little bitty change. But at least you did something. So always keep that in your head. Okay. Nah, like I said, I ain't where I was, but I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was.
Well, I got some people in my life who maybe are some horses who I've been trying my best to lead to the water, and I've realized that I was also trying to force them to drink it, and eventually I had to realize that you can't force them to drink it, and you gotta take that step back.
Yeah, you got to back away from it, man. You know,
this has been an amazing conversation. You know,
I understand because we've been conversating since we got back together, but not like this, not in depth. You know, I say I used to give you bits and pieces and this and that, but you know, like I said, I just want to show you that I'm not that person back that I was back then.
And that's exactly what I want to show them. I want to. Because the particular people that we're talking about, when I started posting content, they felt like they actually were telling me that I had lost my mind. Like it wasn't just they were like thinking it silently. I had several of them telling me to my face, "You're going crazy. You're a drug addict. You're not sleeping. You're out of your mind." And the one thing that was right was I wasn't sleeping. But the reason I wasn't sleeping was because maybe the switch that had flipped wasn't that I had suddenly gone crazy. The switch that had flipped was that I had developed the self-confidence to film myself.
Yeah.
And that sudden change and me being willing to speak my mind firmly and not back down and just be confident in my opinion, that's what set them off.
Yeah,
when I stopped just capitulating to everything that they wanted, that's when I became crazy all of a sudden.
Yeah, because you wasn't beating to their drum no more. Mm-hmm. You being your own person, you know, and it's hard for them to accept that.
Yep.
You know, and it's not going to happen overnight. You might get someone to come around, but then they're going to be those that just you know, or eat it, whatever. You can think what you want to think about me.
Yeah, and that's why the solution that I came to, the conclusion that I came to, is that instead of trying to force the horse to drink, I'm just going to drink myself.
There you go. There you go.
If the horse decides he's thirsty and he wants to drink, the water will be there.
I'm gonna move over. Go come on, get it. I'm telling you, that's the truth. You know, like my sister right there. We got a deep fryer, and she rather use the skillet. And now she gotta keep wiping the floor because it splash out. Deep, look right here. Bad boy work. Put 16 wings at a time. No, she better use the skillet. That's my sister though. She's
sure you love her just the same.
I love my baby. I don't care. I love my baby. You know? That's my heart, man. That's my second mama.
All right, we can keep talking, but I think that's about it.
Okay.
For the documentary part.
All right,
I do want to give you a hug though.
Okay, you got that time. You got that. I told you that. Ain't none of that old that sissy hug you. You my boy, man. I love you, man. I love you so much, man. You in my heart, dude.